Now you might be saying to yourself, is Blademas actually back? Are we back to consistent uploads? Are we back to daily uploads? And the truth is, yeah, I'm back, baby. So make sure you hit that red subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already as well. And also make sure to follow me on all social medias at Blademas, exactly how it's spelled on the YouTube channel username. Now, make sure you go to the community poll and you vote. Either the question went up before this video or after this video was uploaded, but I'm basically asking you guys, what position do you guys want me to do next in terms of reactions? Today, or yesterday I should say, you guys voted for shortstops, so we start off today with shortstops. Make sure you vote to basically allow me to know what you guys want to see next. So we start off with Marcus, career low in strikeout percentage at 13.7, walk percentage 11.6. that was his career high. So let's look at his vision. A 76 vision with a 13.7 strikeout percentage. I'd say that's a little bit lower than you'd expect. I'd expect it to be at least an 85, but it gives him room for improvement if he has another great year this year as well in terms of striking out less. And then walk percentage of 11.6, having an 82 discipline, that seems about right. Now looking at his 3-year averages versus left-handers, his average was 267. He has an 80 contact versus left. I think they were a little bit too generous in contact versus left, and you'll see why in a second. I believe it should be a 69, just like his contact versus right. Slugging versus left, 460. They gave him 57 power versus left. That to me, I think they could have given him at least low 60s, like a 62. Then versus right-handers, 3-year average, 265. So 265 as opposed to 267 versus left-handers, and he has a 69 contact versus right, but an 80 contact versus left. Definitely should have the same number on both sides, so I'd say a 69 is perfect for both sides. And then slugging versus right is much lower than his slugging versus left, as he has a 437. So how he has a 57 power versus left and then a 68 power versus right, I don't really know what to tell you, but his numbers could definitely be altered some. But an 83 overall, it's a great overall for him. I feel like he has potential to go diamond, of course, 100%, but considering that I see most of his numbers being flipped as the year goes on or being adjusted, I think that he has potential. But as of right now, unless he starts off the year very hot and has a great year like he did last year, I think that I have him at like a 35% chance of going blue. Now let's go on to Xander Bogaerts. Now Xander Bogaerts, on the other hand, his K percentage last year was a 17.5%, well below, I should say, the league average. So 71 vision, it makes sense. Now that's why I say Marcus Semien could have higher vision, because he was a 13.7%, Bogaerts was a 17.5%, and they have around the same vision. His walk percentage was a career high 10.9. He has 78 discipline, so that makes sense as well. But those two attributes, I say they make sense. Now, versus left-handers, his average is 285 in the 3-year span. They gave him a 77 contact versus left. I honestly feel like it should have hit 80. And then his slugging versus left is 469, and they gave him an 80 power versus left. Now, he did have a power surge against lefties last year. I know this because I predicted him going diamond and told you all to invest because I saw the power surge. So this year, for him to actually go diamond, all he needs to do is maintain his average against lefties and then hit for a little bit more power against right-handers, which is not going to be easy to do. But the most important thing for him to do, if he wants to go diamond, is he needs to improve his fielding. He improves his fielding like Marcus did last year, and he's 100% a diamond player, diamond caliber player every single year in MLB The Show. But going into his versus right attributes, 3-year span, his average against righties is 293, so an 85 attribute versus right-handers in terms of contact makes sense. And then his slugging is 502. 70 slugging, I think that's a little too low for him. I'd give him a 75. And if you look at the 3-year averages, he has better slugging numbers against right-handers than he does against left-handers. So those two numbers, in my opinion, they should be flipped, and power versus left should be a 75, and then I'd keep power versus right at an 80, might even give him an 82. But overall, Xander Bogaerts starting off as an 83 overall is just because of his fielding. if he was a silver tier fielder or even had not common but bronze, meaning a 60 fielding, then he'd be a diamond. So keep that in mind. He is a good investment. I say he has a 75% chance to go back to diamond because I don't think he's going to go ahead and actually regress in terms of hitting. He's only 27, so he's still improving. And if he worked on his defense, then you can almost lock him in there as a diamond investment. Now we're into the fun stuff. We're into Trevor Story, someone I wanted to talk about, someone that excites me. So his K percentage last year was 26.5%, well above the league average. His walk percentage was 8.8%. It was just above the league average by 0.3%, which is not good at all. That means he strikes out a lot and he doesn't walk a lot. So vision being a 41 makes sense, and then his discipline being a 63 makes sense as well, meaning that you're not going to be able to check swing with him as often as you'd be able to check swing with guys with incredible vision, or not incredible vision but discipline, like Juan Soto. So let's look at his versus left and versus right attributes. 3-year span versus left-handers, he hit 314, 91 contact versus left, 100%, slugged 631, 87 power versus left, definitely should be higher. I'd give him like 95, 98. And then right-handers, he hit 262 in terms of average, 65 makes sense. And then 490 in terms of slugging, him having a 71 power versus right, it makes sense as well. I'd give him 3 extra points there, get him to a 74. Now, does he have a lot of room for improvement to, let's say, go up to an 87, 88 overall? I'd say it's possible, but you know what? I'd say it's possible. I was going to say it's not as likely, but it's 100% possible. All he needs to do is be better against right-handed pitching. His defense is already amazing. His speed is already amazing. His fielding is already amazing. There's not much more that he can do to improve. But him being the top 2 shortstop or the top shortstop in the game, I can definitely see it. All he needs to do is smoke the ball against righties and continue doing what he's been doing against lefties. Is he an investment? No, 100% not. So don't waste your stubs. Next is my favorite shortstop in the game of baseball, Javier Baez. Now his strikeout percentage, 27.8%. So just like Trevor Story, he has a strikeout problem. And then just like Trevor Story, but even worse than Trevor Story, he does not walk. He walks at a 5%. That is horrible. That is below the league average. So let's look at his 3-year numbers. Or actually, let's look at his vision and discipline first. 27.8%, 47 vision. I'd say I'll take it. Nothing to say about it. He's the cover athlete, so they probably boosted that up just a tad because he has more vision than Trevor Story. Now, discipline at a 42, 100% deserves a 42. I mean, you're not going to be able to check swing with Javier Baez, not with a 5% walk rate. Now, versus left-handers, he hit in his 3-year span, 308, 87 contact versus left. I think it should have been 90. Slugging 589, 86 power versus left. I think it should have been 90 as well, to be honest. And then we're going to look at versus right. So his average versus right is 274. And he has a contact versus right attribute of 72. And then his slugging is 506. He has a power versus right attribute of 69. To me, he definitely deserves a lot more power versus right. I'd say middle 70s, and then his contact versus right seems about right. Does Javier Baez have it in him to actually go to an 88 overall, 89 overall? I'd say yes, 100%, especially if he works on that arm accuracy, 100%. All he needs to do is, just like Trevor Story, hit righties a bit better, and then he's going to be able to make it without a problem. So keep an eye out on him. But once again, do not invest in diamonds to actually get upgrades. That's not a good investment. Now, I don't know what it is about these shortstops, but they just don't like to walk. That's just the honest truth. Besides Sandro Bogarts and Marcus Semien, they just don't like to walk. The 3 diamond shortstops, their discipline is horrible. Now, 15% K ratio for Francisco Lindor, 82 vision. That is very good, and he deserves it 100% because throughout his 3-year average, he does not strike out a lot. Walk percentage of 7%, that is below the league average. A 64 discipline also makes sense for him. Now let's look at his contact versus left. His average against left-handers 3-year span has been 300. So his contact versus left being a 76, I think that's a little too low. I think it should have been at least an 80. And then his slugging versus left 513, 67 power versus left. They're giving him the Mookie Betts and Tommy Pham treatment. He should have at least 75 power versus left as well. And then versus right-handers, 3-year average, his contact versus right is a 78. His average is a 268. So, to put things into perspective, he's hitting better against left-handers, but has a lower contact versus left attribute than versus right attribute. Or not a lower. He's hitting better against left-handers, and he has a better attribute versus right-handers than he does against left-handers. He's hitting 300 against left-handers and 268 against right-handers. So how in the world does he have a higher attribute of contact versus right? Doesn't make any sense. And then his power, slugging versus right-handers is 514. Slugging against left-handers is 513. So the difference in, 9 points in his power versus right and power versus left, that doesn't make sense either. It's what I'm saying. They should both be at mid-70s because 514 is actually pretty good. You'd give him a 76. 513 against left-handers, you'd give him like a 75. So it's like, I'm not sure what San Diego Studios does. I'm not sure how they do their ratings or how they come up with these attributes, but that 33% of the 3 years, I don't think it's the truth because it does not add up. And as I continue to do these calculations and, just invest my time into seeing their statistics and then comparing it to their attributes, you're going to keep seeing that whatever system they use is flawed. But anyways, if you did end up enjoying today's content, make sure to hit that like button or subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on all social medias at BladeMiss. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch you all in the next.